Taurus, this is your December 2021 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is a general reading for you. The message for December is all around loyalty and longing. And I really need you to remember how far you've come this year, Taurus. So this is Romy. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. We're going to give you some insight around the astrological dates and also some messages and insights to help you navigate the next few weeks. So we're opening up with the energy of temperance. And there is this reminder that, December's a long month, and even though it may pass very quickly, I don't want you to judge the individual experiences and moments until you kind of get a true sense of the entirety of what it's been able to deliver for you, okay? Because I think if you took any one snapshot in time, it's going to give such a varied emotional experience for you. I think you're going to come full circle in lots of different things. The skies astrologically are very charged, and these kind of electrical storms, if you like, are going to be playing out for some dramatic closure and some real spiraling out energy. And yet temperance is saying, let's just have an opportunity to stop and kind of recalibrate and come back into balance a little bit and have some timing, understood, so that when we do make some firmer decisions and we come to kind of understand or appreciate what this month has really been about. And in fact, as we reflect on the entirety of this year, you are actually, giving yourself true credit for how far you've come. Now, temperance does link into that energy of Sagittarius. That mutability can be a little bit tricky for you to deal with. And as we said, the kind of shape-shifting spiraling can have you feeling a little bit out of sorts. And so what we also want you to be mindful and cognizant of is that any uncomfortable energy that feels like it's overly pressurizing through the course of this month is also trying to direct you very specifically and clearly to an understanding. And that understanding is within the self first and foremost, because your natural ruler Venus is going to be stationing retrograde on the 19th of the month. And the Venusian themes, of course, of self-esteem and value, of a focus in and around our aspects of relationships and love, professionally, our aspects to abundance and to money, and when Venus is offline like this, there is a real significant impact, and we're going to be working with these themes for quite a while, right the way through till the end of February if we take shadow energy into account. And so the King of Swords suggests that there'll be moments where you feel that that's really blocking or impeding your progress in some way. And yet remember, temperance is coming in and saying all things in good time. There is a sense of balance or something that we're learning about moderation that's going to be really, really valuable in this. Now, of course, these retrograde energies will bring things and people back for us to be able to readdress. And when we talk about themes of loyalty and longing, what do I mean by this? It's like, who have you been loyal to? What do you feel loyal to? What are the important parts and aspects of your life now where you feel you're ready to kind of fully commit or want to put that energy in? Well, Venus retrograde is going to have you questioning that. And I suppose in many aspects, rightly so, just so you can make sure that you are taking everything into account about the ways in which you've changed, what continues to emotionally charge or trigger you or come in as a little bit of that kryptonite energy, so to speak. Now, the King of Swords may well be an air sign, Aquarius, Libra or Gemini, or it may just be someone who's coming in with that very cool, clear, pragmatic approach to something that, in some aspects might be helpful for you, but you might also feel like it's coming in quite harshly in some regards. Is it stopping you from being able to move forward and actually have what you want? No, but it is like almost a little cautionary sort of reminder, shall we say, to make sure that you are following through with something that is coming from a place of being for your highest good, and not just from that sense of longing because you've been triggered by someone or something that's come back around for you, okay? Now, I want you to really remember who you are. If you are feeling that you have been overlooked, if you feel in any way through the course of December not supported or fully appreciated, then what it's going to do is really remind you of that very, very powerful seed of strength that you have continuously relied upon through the course of 2021 to drive you forward. And it's wanting you to kind of really come into harmony and balance with that within the self, because that's where your victory lies. That's where the success can come in terms of the endeavors that you are directing your energy towards, and really where you want to kind of firmly put your loyalty, so to speak, yeah? So there's going to be beautiful portals of possibilities showing up in December, and there's a very healing energy actually with Neptune moving direct in Pisces. There's an opportunity to almost come back into harmony with some of the hopes and dreams that you have for yourself. And Chiron also shifts direct in Aries on the 19th, so the healing journey that you've been on these last few months is really being integrated with a depth of awareness and a compassion and a kindness to the self that I think you're really going to recognize in terms of your own journey around valuing yourself, respecting yourself, loving yourself in beautiful new ways. Now, the Six of Wands is interesting because I also feel that when we put it in combination with what you learn from this King of Swords, like, you know, how you interpret this energy is everything, yeah? Because you could come up against that initially and just feel like, for goodness sake, really? Now? You know, and it's kind of like initially that block and that sort of sucker punch a little bit. And yet, if you take a step back and you really kind of draw a breath, you allow that powerful exhale and you take a look back at what you have been through in the entirety of this year and how it's shaped you, how it's kind of helped you to find that sense of stamina, endurance, then what you can actually look at is that the clarification, the discernment, the wisdom, the experience that this King of Swords is making you or forcing you to kind of acknowledge back within yourself is actually the very thing that you can draw upon in order to navigate and to find a solution around this or through this, okay? Each response, remember, that you have through the course of December is using an energetic currency. Yeah, so how does your energetic bank account feel to you right now, Taurus? And I suppose the question I'm going to ask you is it worth it? You know, so when you come into situations or experiences during a very emotive month of the year, and you know, you have an opportunity to kind of really weigh up whether something is worth actually like truly expressing what you want to say in that moment, because we can all be very triggered and kind of be in environments, particularly during the holiday season, where we're back around people we perhaps haven't seen for a while, or you know, that longing is really kicking in. And if you're dealing with some of the aspects of that Venus retrograde and people are coming back from the past and you're trying to figure out what the right way forward, what the right thing to do is, I just want you to remember that each and every response that you have will use some of that energetic currency from your bank. And is it best served in this direction? You know, we talked about that a lot last month about clarity of energy investment. And here's where you really get to kind of walk your talk in that sense and really start to embody some of the things that you committed to for yourself. You know, that's really important. Now, Mars is going to be shifting into Sagittarius on the 13th of the month. But ahead of that, let's just talk about the fact that we have the solar eclipse, new moon in Sagittarius at 12 degrees. So revelationary energy coming in at this point in time, very significant by way of helping to clear something out, to prepare for a new pathway to emerge. Now, Two of Pentacles suggests to me that you're going to have to be very flexible in terms of how you look at something. We've got Temperance as well. Both of them are sort of juggling the energy here. You might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed or under pressure in terms of having to do an awful lot in a very short or quick time frame. A lot might be being asked of you to kind of deliver upon very quickly. Again, with that King of Swords, almost a sense or a feeling like whatever you do, you feel is somehow not good enough, or you can't get it right, or, you know, I have that energy of you kind of looking in that direction and going, oh my goodness. But remember, we've got that Six of Wands. We have success and victory charging through when you remember who you are. Okay, it's going to be really important. That seed of strength that I need you to draw into. Now, even if you are in a situation where you feel like there isn't enough, because I have a sense of you trying to also make things stretch. So yes, for some of you that might come in on a financial basis, trying to make things go a long way, or it might just be that there's not enough of you to kind of go around. You're trying to split your time and your energy, or in some capacity just divvy out something. You know, there's this kind of aspect of, I don't see how I can make this work. Again, there's this reminder that, you know, there are moments where we have to stop and kind of really address like where the energy is going and how conducive that is to us being able to sustain it in the long term. You know, sometimes it's okay to say, okay, for a period, for a week or 2 weeks, I have to act in this way, but I know I can't carry this on. So if something that's being asked of you is in a very short term capacity, yes, it's fine. You can take the hit on an energy level. But if this is something you're being asked to sign up to or commit to in the long term, Venus retrograde says that's not a good idea, because you're going to regret it, or you're going to have to come back around to it in order to kind of readdress the imbalance in some way, okay? I want you to really look about the areas of your life that you have come to a new level of appreciation and love for, okay? It's really important in December, I feel, Taurus, that you kind of are able to identify that, because this is where the inspiration, this is where this new source of energy feels like it's coming towards you. So even if you are dealing with aspects of difficult relationships, difficult situations, you know, Mars in Sagittarius is giving you the energy, the drive, the wherewithal to kind of look out to a new horizon and actually feel inspired about things that you know are right and are working for you. No matter how small they are, the more focus and nourishment you can put, this is going to be amplified. And I feel from a spiritual perspective, especially as we're going to welcome Jupiter in Pisces towards the end of the month, there's a gorgeous kind of expansion that's set to start to envelop you into the course of next year in and around this area. So anything that you feel very drawn or inspired to in December, make sure you are giving yourself some time and energy to kind of make that a part of your daily ritual or your sacred time. It's gonna make all the difference in terms of balancing your energy out through this very kind of chaotically charged month. Now, I need you to remember, Taurus, that, you know, your strength is going to show up differently on different days through December, okay? So it's going to be hard to sort of maintain that same balanced state all the way. That's why I said it's so important to not look at any specific snapshot in time, and you're going to have to wait till the end of the month for you to feel a true idea of what you've been able to gain from this. So the energy of the moon is coming in and does suggest that there are some things that are waiting in the wings still to be revealed to you. There's almost this sense of information being, and I honestly feel like consciously held back from you. So it may be someone is specifically holding back, they don't want you to know, or, you know, there is a sort of aspect of deception going on. And in many aspects, this could be on an emotional level, I feel, for some of you. Or it may be something specifically that someone thinks they're doing the right thing and kind of holding it back from you because they don't want to stress you out, or they don't want to put more on your plate. The challenge with that is, you know, I feel on an intuitive level, you're going to have a pretty keen sense of something not being true, not being right, not sitting right with you. And if you're not careful, that can cause some disruption or stress or anxiety in your energy field. So I feel like it's important that you have those honest, clear communication and conversations. But, you know, you might need to wait until in and around that full moon that comes in Gemini on the 19th before you get more of a sense of clarity about what's being held back or what's been hidden from you at this point in time. So that fog, that haze, it will dissipate. And I think as we come into Capricorn energy, you're going to feel much more comfortable in that earth sign, speaking the same language as you, and not so spun out and kind of spiraling in terms of that mutability of Sagittarius that can kind of sometimes make you feel a little bit disorientated. Now, we need to acknowledge that as we come into Capricorn energy, we're also going to be welcoming the solstice, and it's such an important time of balancing out that sense of equilibrium within you, that energy. And again, I feel taking time to be able to really give yourself some kind of sacred ritual so that you can observe what's going on around you, what you're ready to release, and kind of really take the power and the potency of these times. You know, they're meaningful on so many levels, but they are an opportunity for you to realign with the season and the energy of where nature is wanting to help support you at this exact moment in time. Your magician comes in and says, you know what, you have everything that you need this month, Taurus, to create things that you want and draw them towards you in your pathway right now. There is a beautiful sense of like instant manifestation that that comes in December? Can the miracles and the blessings come through for you? 100% when you look in the direction of things that inspire you, okay? But not get caught up in the energy of what anybody else might be projecting or trying to withhold or almost distract you from the things that are important. Loyalty and longing, who and what are you being loyal to? Is it the right thing for you? If you feel that something is truly off because you are longing for it, like what does that tell you about what's missing or what you haven't addressed? Now there's a beautiful healing undercurrent that's going to be happening through December that you can take the time to tap into. And the magician suggests here that you can use your experiences, you can use what you know about the people around you, about what's happening. And that Gemini full moon, remember, is helping us to really come to terms with a sense of duality, of polarization, first of all within ourselves, because here's the thing, right? There's undoubtedly in December going to be things that you feel so conflicted about, in one moment just kind of feeling accepting and at peace and even celebrating something, and in the next moment perhaps deep sadness, a sense of loss, anger, frustration, and kind of having to juggle and balance out these wildly conflicting energies to come together, maybe in moments with family over the festive period, or come together to just get something over the line or make something happen, or even come into a place of accepting that you have to let something go. So knowing that you're going to be working with that kind of polarizing energy is really important, and then you can find ways to kind of make sure that you can ground in and find centeredness and balance in your own energy. Magician, though, I really like for you because I feel like something is set to come into your path as a direct result of action that you've taken, inspired action, because you're very alert and awake, okay? And I think that is important. And again, you're sort of almost trusting in the process. The magician at any given moment, when he's deep in his alchemical process, he knows that there's a process before the gold is revealed, So the Two of Swords comes in, and there is this reminder. You've got a couple of twos showing up, so choices and trying to balance or weigh something up is going to be really strong in your mind through the course of December. And, the North Node in your sign, moving in much more strongly now energetically. You'll have had a really big sense with that full moon in your sign, epic, so it was in terms of kind of where it's driving you and what came up for you during that moon that's really going to start to show itself much more clearly for you. The other thing we want you to be aware of course, is we've got the third and final kind of clash of the Titan energy with Saturn in Aquarius squaring Uranus in your sign on the 24th of the month. So track back, Taurus, to the 14th of June and also the 17th of February earlier this year. This is going to give you a little bit of an indication on a personal level, some of the themes that you might be closing out. Remember, the reverberations of this are still going to be felt in the weeks and months to come. It's a very uncomfortable, pressured square. So, it's not meant to be easy or comfortable, but it is meant to be progressive and powerfully move us forward. Now, your Two of Swords suggests there's something perhaps you don't want to see, you don't want to deal with, you don't want to acknowledge in and around the energy of that. But at the same time, Uranus has been working in your sign, and you're well aware of the kind of steps that it's asking you to take. And December's one of these months from a karmic perspective that fate's coming in and it's picking people up on a pathway that they're not meant to be on, or where they haven't really understood or listened to the areas they've supposed to be making changes or developing themselves so that they can evolve. And it's almost like picking you up and putting you down somewhere else, and that might feel like a rude awakening or very uncomfortable if you haven't been invested or open to some of these changes. Now, I feel most of you tuned in here will have already done so much of that work, so it's not necessarily coming as the biggest surprise, but let's not underestimate that it still feels intensely uncomfortable to try to unearth something or let go of something. And remember, it's really this kind of old versus new, and it will continue to play out in the collective. So of course you'll also be affected by any shifts and changes that happen on that level. There may be an important choice that you have to make, and it could well come in around that new moon, around that Sagittarius solar eclipse as well, that might define not only the rest of this month but the early part of the new year for you as well, is also what I want to say. think you need to really respect, Taurus, where you are at this moment in time, regardless of the distance to where you want to be. It's important that you don't dismiss or disown, and you really kind of find the resolve, because this is where the strength of character is going to come through. So your Eight of Cups suggests perhaps that decision is about, should I stay or should I go? Or maybe there's a release energy of something on an emotional level, a burden that we have to kind of let go of. And it might just, there's something deeply kind of affecting about getting to December, isn't it? And tracking back and thinking about the goals or sort of the expectations or the hope that you had at the beginning of the year, and then having a really clear, truthful conversation with yourself about where you now are and what happened in the last 12 months, and your part to play in it, and how things came along and detoured you or sidelined you, and how you became more because of it, how you grew. And if you can come at it from a really understanding, compassionate, kind perspective, it's going to give you strength and the resolve to keep going and to get refocused and re-energized. If you're not careful, like I said, you can judge it in one moment and kind of derail yourself, and that's not what I want for you. I don't want you to let that moon kind of obscure things for you where it's not necessary. So Venus, that ruler of your sign in a fellow earth sign, it is going to have impact, and we just want you to be aware that it's not coming along to punish you, it's coming along to prepare you, because there are going to be things that come back in that feel sweet, that feel beautiful. You've got success coming in, you've got re-energized inspiration and the openness and readiness to look at things in a new way. You are unlocking something. In fact, the way that Page of Wands is looking towards the moon, there's a wisdom, there's an understanding in terms of that lunar cycle and the effects of situations and where they are at in the process. This is why I'm saying you can't judge where you stand right now, because each aspect, each part of your journey is dead valuable for you at this moment in time, okay? I feel though, with that Magician, there is an ask of you, yeah? So the universe is saying there's something that you need to do through the course of December to sort of almost take charge or take back control in a certain situation. And I guess again the reminder about the emotional responses, and it may be that you just take control of your own emotional response to a specific situation or person, so that you keep that energetic currency really topped up in your own bank account, because that's going to have a huge impact on your mental, physical well-being, okay? It's so important. Now, on the 13th, same day Mars moves into Sagittarius, Mercury is also going to enter Capricorn. So our communication style, again, in a fellow earth sign feels easier for you, much more deliberate, much more committed to what it is that we are saying. So you have for your oracle card, Orion activation, supernova, recreation, renewal, rebirthed by light. That's beautiful. Okay, so there's such an expansive feeling here, something catalytic coming in. That Magician, I feel, has something to do with it. Being propelled into something, perhaps even before you're ready, is also what I want to say, So you might be surprised at how quickly something develops. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's something that you're hoping for some success, and I feel like it just could take off, or it kind of spirals out of control a little bit. But that doesn't have to be negative. It can be really all-inspiring, and the fact that you're kind of walking through this gateway, this portal, and there's something being activated within you. This is why I'm saying this sort of portal of possibility of December, if you can get on board with kind of looking at it in its entirety and not in any individual day or even week, then you're going to come away from this year really feeling the exquisiteness of how you have changed and what you've been gifted in terms of your own journey. It's really important. So let's take a look at the Astro Oracle cards, see what wants to come through with this. Oh, beautiful. You have the energy of the sun. And I think this is really about the recognition of where you're drawing your energetic currency from. Where do you draw that energy from? There's going to be, because of this theme of loyalty and longing, a recalibration. This is where solstice is really going to help you, okay, whether you're northern or southern hemisphere, and you work with the changing light, and you come to a place that says, okay, I can no longer draw energy from one specific source, i.e. one person, one business, one job, one place. This is now about understanding that you can pull upon the energy of source, which is infinite, unconditional, overflowing, and allow that to be the thing that sustains you. And that's where that seed of strength is kind of coming through and helping you to really remember who you are. And it's also going to support you through some of that uncomfortable, pressured energy with that Saturn squaring Uranus coming through. But a burst of something real, radiant, and actually that makes you feel very warm. Like I have that sense of you feeling supported with that energy of the sun. So that's beautiful. And this is what I mean. There's going to be so many contrasting experiences that come through. So you may have to walk away or let go. You may feel something's been held back or withdrawn. And at the same time, something bursts into your vision, into your pathway that you feel, oh my goodness, this is me. This is so in alignment with everything that I feel, everything that I am, everything that I know. And you are going to be flexible and adaptable enough to kind of cope with the coexisting of all of these different timelines, all of these different emotions, all of these different experiences. You need to trust yourself during this process. Okay, so your goddess energy is Kali, transformation. Nothing stays the same. Allow new light to shine on old darkness. I like that actually, because as we kind of look at the sun illuminating the moon and illuminating the darkness of that Eight of Cups, even the Orion activation, this is the burst of the light into the darkness to kind of really reveal the truth of things. Now, she's in the jungle and there's something very almost kind of rich, and it's so growth filled. There's just so much oxygenation here. Look at everything growing, and you've got the water here. So on an emotional level, this is kind of trickling, but it's gaining momentum here as well. And she stands very clear, very determined, very purposeful, absolutely knowing that this transition, this time, is helping her to understand that she needs to be loyal to herself. She needs to be understanding of what the longing is and transmute that into something much more powerful and transformative. And the Magician energy, again, helping that. We also have the Jaguar coming in here. So Jaguar animal energy working with you as well through the course of this month, just to give you that intuitiveness, that perception, that ability to know exactly the right time. And I think that's important. There is a timing aspect with Temperance coming through that's going to be really supportive for you this month. Okay, so Page of Wands says at the center of your reading, be open, be curious, draw on things that inspire you, where you feel the light coming, where you feel the passion emerging. Know that you're going to be on a journey, and don't take any one specific experience this month as dominating or somehow giving you that impression of this is how it's going to end. Far from it. Things are shape-shifting constantly through December. So Taurus, this is a general reading. I'm just going to invite you to think about a question that might not have come up in the main spread. Okay, we'll pull a couple of personal cards for this for you. If you've enjoyed the reading, please do make sure you subscribe. Drop me a like and a comment. It really helps to support my work and let me see how it's resonating for you. Okay. Right, so let's just clarify this main reading now. So I'm just going to begin with the energy of Temperance. What else do we need to know here? Okay, we have another moon energy coming in. And the Tower. Okay. The upheaval of the Tower, it's not a surprise. Eclipse energy, Saturn squaring Uranus, Venus retrograde. We've just got to get on board with the fact that these charged electrical skies are going to be having impact. Page of Coins coming in here, and the Hierophant. Six of Swords. Okay, Six of Wands is bringing in the Ace of Cups. Beautiful. And the Knight of Coins. Okay. What do we need to know with the Two of Pentacles? Okay, we've got the Queen of Swords. Could be an air sign. Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. Page of Swords. Lots of communication, discussions, negotiations happening here. For what you want, what you desire, what you're longing for. Beautiful Magician coming in, and the Emperor. The Magician, the Emperor and Justice. It's a real powerful statement coming through here for you, Taurus, this month. Another Eight of Cups there. That was with the King of Cups, so maybe there's a water sign energy here as well. Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. You got the energy of death, Scorpio coming through. Three of Swords there. Interesting. I do feel you wrestling with something quite deeply through December, Taurus. I'll kind of dive into that a little bit more in the extended, but I think when you figure it out, High Priestess, yeah, Queen of Cups, there's such a sense of relief. I think you don't even realise how much you've maybe been wrestling with this for longer than you expected. The Sun, okay, beautiful, coming in, double there. Okay, Taurus, if you'd like to join me, we'll talk for another 20 minutes or so on the extended. You can find the link in the comment and the description section underneath the video. It's just a way to support my work further and gain some deeper insight. And thank you so much if you elect to join me, if it's been resonating. I'm going to wish you beautiful blessings for this month. You take good care. Thank you for all your support of my channel this year. I look forward to seeing you again in the new year. You take care. Bye.